weather tomorrow. I wish it would just rain.
Hot, yeah.
89 tomorrow.
Ugh. Is it supposed to be like this next week?
No, it'll cool down by Sunday. A bunch of us went out running at noon.
92 degrees?
85 degrees.
85 last night, so
That sounds
I rode my
hot.
bike here.
We averaged like
Like BT.
13-minute
I didn't
miles.
sweat too much.
How long?
13-minute miles.
Oh.
That works.
Well, we thought we were running, but you know.
It's hot today. The humidity too is very
Yeah.
oppressive.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, welcome back. Thank you, my big audience, for coming.
What are some things that you
Oh, sorry. I'll turn this off.
signed up?
So I repositioned the camera so it can be a little more, so I'm looking at you sort of in the camera at the same time. Before it was off angle. Yuriko was just discovering the videos, so they're raw right now, but I'm going to edit them later. So I'm going to spend a few minutes reviewing from last week. We won't spend a whole lot of time reviewing since I think we probably all got a decent idea about it. I have another handout for you. So there's redundancy in it because originally I designed it for the potential for someone coming back to this without having gone to the first part. And obviously I figured we can review the guidelines a little bit too. So you with me, Yuriko?
No. I should close this. Okay.
Alright, so we'll just review a little bit from last week and then we'll talk about what you guys are discovering this week, what you're observing. So, just like last week, I'm going to follow the same structure. I'll go over a little opening, talk about intros with a twist, maybe involving video, reviewing the guidelines again, and then we'll go over into the makeovers, some of the generic ones from that I showed you before, and then some of the ones you guys submitted to me. So I think it's probably what you're most interested in. I'm not sure what's going on here. So, let me go ahead and hand these out to you guys so you can follow along. Again, I encourage you to take notes. There's some color, and there's most of it's black and white.
Asbestos. Wow.
Yeah. Don't sneak ahead too much. So, just like last week, the really objective of today is looking at, one, the guidelines, and two, how we can apply those guidelines to our own slides, ultimately. We'll do some exercises before we get to your slides, based on some of those bad slides I showed you last week, various examples. We'll work through those first at a high level, and then we'll jump into some of your slides. So I will just jump in, and I'll actually pause for a moment and let you all jump into page 5. And on that, if you want to take a few notes for yourself again, and I'll just have you share after we're at. But go ahead and jump to page 5. Anyone need a pen?
No.
Okay. Get a few things written down? Yuriko? Okay.
Oh, what did I become aware of? Tricks like gray slide?
Oh, good.
Silence? Silence?
the idea of silence between slides. Anything else?
So here, my purpose is to fine-tune presentation styles and learn more tricks.
Okay. What do you mean by fine-tuned presentation styles?
Well, you showed some PowerPoint presentations that were before and after, and they were drastically different.
Okay.
And you pointed out the fonts and you know what people can't see at the back of the room and so on.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And I don't have a problem sharing my slides.
Great. How about you, Beth?
Well, I just noticed the amount of text on the slides.
On your slides or just slides in general? Or?
Mine and everyone else's. That, you know, last week we talked about the amount of text being very minimal, like, and what I gathered, like 3 words maybe per bullet point. And I'm way over that, and other people are way over that. So
We'll talk about it more, but I think one thing I've realized a lot is that people generally set up a set of slides for one. They do one set of slides, and they may use it for multiple purposes. They may use it as a handout, which in that case is probably appropriate to have a fair bit of text because someone's reading it who may or may not have been there.
mm-hmm.
Or maybe they were there and they just want something to review. But they're also using the same set of slides as an overview to a bunch of people who aren't even maybe in that same technical field. So they really just need high-level stuff. And so in that case, that's the case where I believe that the long text and the big bullets, the long bullets, makes it harder to deal with. It is more work to make 2 separate sets of slides, the handout versus the minimalist ones.
I kind of like the idea of going more graphic and image-wise and doing a separate thing as a handout. One, I think you can save paper that way.
Yes.
Instead of printing slides, three to a page or something like that, you can write up a kind of a white paper, a guidance document.
It's almost like this workbook here.
Right, and then and do the PowerPoint so that they have something more visual to look at, something a little, I wouldn't say 3-dimensional per se, but you have some depth to the contents
Right.
that you might not get just by reading the words. And so I've been thinking about that. And then the purpose is for being here is to keep working on that. And I got invited to do a TED Talk
Oh, really?
in a few weeks. So
What's
When
the
is
TED
it?
Talk?
the Lyric is going to host it at noon on July the 12th.
Oh, I thought it was September.
No, they're doing one.
Oh, TED Talks versus the Tukachas.
Yeah.
Tukachas in September, by the way. Yeah,
Okay.
Lyric also, probably.
So I really want to work on that, the pictures for the TED
Well, I'd
Talk.
love to work with you on it. It'd be fun.
I'm hoping that you would say that.
July 12th?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
At
I've
noon.
got 2 weeks of vacation in between now and then. So,
And on July 11th, I'm actually meeting with the woman who taught some PowerPoint classes here at FDI, who's graduating and leaving. But on the 11th, I'm meeting with her at 1 o'clock to go over some of her tricks and tips too. So I'll be freshly tutored.
well, good.
Yeah, but we can definitely work before then. I'm gone until the 5th of July, but we can work virtually as well.
Okay.
So, exciting.
The acronym TED, Technology, Entertainment, Design,
Perhaps.
was the original acronym, and they shortened it or the original name, and they shortened it to TED. And so it's maybe a 15-minute presentation that someone gives about something that they're doing or working on, or something innovative in technology, entertainment, design. And typically the slides are timed, so they're going on in the background, and the person is just, doing their presentation, and it's very minimalist.
Did you know about this before last weekend? When you
Oh,
were
yeah,
here?
yeah.
Okay, so that's one of the reasons your comments was about learning more about timed slides.
So,
Well, you're going to have a little, I'll tell you in a second what we're going to do, but what I want to do is remind you of a tip, and that is just take notes on today. Try some more. Use my mouse. There. is. So, reminder, take notes throughout the day, and if you learn something about each other and you want to remember it, Rico does so-and-so, just, jot it down. You don't have to tell her you're doing it, but you might follow up with each other. You never know. 3 years from now, you might run across each other somewhere and remember this day, the 20th of June, 2012. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to repeat the Joe story, just partly for my practice and partly just to see if you notice anything different about it. And then we're going to talk about a new version of an intro we're going to try today. So Joe slowly approached the podium and turned. He froze. In front of him was 100 people, business people, graduate students, community members, and behind him was his first slide. On it was 2 logos, neither of which he explained. Joe then turned, hands in his pockets, and started reading off his next slide. On top was light green lettering and the title on a white background and 15-point font. This went on for 9 painful minutes. At the end of the presentation, the guy next to me turned to me and said, "Hey, Eric, I don't get it." And that was basically the feeling of the entire room. Poor Joe. So we don't want to be like Joe, obviously. We're going to learn from him. I'm really hoping to meet with him in person again. He's a real person, actually. It's a different name, but